Welcome, welcome. This is Gull, Money Mindset Expert. And today I have the pleasure and the honor of speaking to Sami Wunder. Welcome, Sami.
Yay, thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. You've heard the intro, you know how amazing Sami is. But Sami, in your own words, can you please tell everybody what it is that you do?
So what I do is I help smart, strong, successful women find and keep amazing romantic love in their lives.
Fabulous, fabulous. And that's absolutely what we all need. Now, Sami, talk us through this. I know you're based in Germany, but obviously you didn't wake up one day and decided to become a love coach. What was your journey? Talk us through your journey.
Okay, so I think for me, there were two pivotal moments in my journey that brought me to where I am today as a love expert for high achieving women. The first one was my own experiences with men. I thought I was a reasonably good looking, intelligent, smart.
You're very good looking, by the way. For those of you listening on the podcast, you don't get to see her, but obviously in the YouTube it'd be different. She's very good looking. But carry on, Sami.
That's very kind of you. Thank you. A smart, hardworking woman. And I just couldn't understand why things wouldn't work out for me with men. And so man after man, where I felt like there was a connection, we had so many things in common. And they would fizzle out on me. They would tell me, you're a wonderful woman, but I don't feel it for you. They would tell me, I love you, but I'm not in love with you, whatever that means. And I had all these painful experiences, but I kept going on. I didn't stop to reflect what was going on. I didn't stop to prioritize my love life. I just thought it's going to work out. Sometimes things don't work out for you. You just carry on. But there came a man in my life that broke my heart, who I thought was the one for me. We dated 2 months and it was electric. It was the most amazing connection I had ever experienced up to that point. And then he too ghosted. And when I didn't hear from him for 10 days, I decided to listen to my girlfriends. I was dating in Germany at that time, and they said to me, oh, we live in an equal modern world and German men expect women to reach out. You should just reach out and ask him what's wrong and fix it. And even though my intuition said no, like if he really wanted to be with me, he would reach out to me.
Of course.
I heard that advice and I reached out to him, and he said similar words. He said, you're a great person, Sami. You're such a great girl, but I don't think I'm feeling it.
Okay.
And I remember just, sitting in my apartment in Berlin that night and asking myself, what is wrong with me? Like, is there something wrong with me? And there was so much anger and resentment starting to build against men inside of me. Like, I felt like, oh my God, like these men, they're all the same and nobody wants to commit and they're all douchebags. And I might as well just throw it all off. Like, let me focus on my career. Let me focus on my work, because that's where I'm good and I'm smart and I know I can achieve and be in control. And maybe love is not meant for me. Maybe I am not supposed to be wasting my time here. Well, I'm so grateful to God, because the next morning I woke up and there was this voice inside me that said, don't give up now, not now.
Okay.
You want to find out where you're going wrong, and you want to use your smartness to find solutions to your challenge. Okay. And so I dove inside, understanding romantic relationships. What I found was, at the surface, there's so much advice on the internet, like how to text a man, how to call a man.
Yeah, very superficial stuff though.
And it can be so superficial when you look at dating advice that is in that tone. And at the same time, I think our romantic relationships are a very deep mirror to our deepest fears, our deepest limiting beliefs, our deepest sense of worth or the lack of it.
Yeah.
Our understanding of how connected we are with our masculine and how sometimes disconnected we are with our feminine. So what I learned was life-changing for me, and I implemented it in my life. I met, attracted, got engaged to my husband within 9 months of doing the work on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I knew I had hit upon something that was life-changing, because
Mm.
I had all my girlfriends who were also smart PhDs, entrepreneurs, really
Mm.
smart women, who were all having the same struggles. And suddenly they were like, what did Sami do? Like, what happened there? Because we used to all collect and complain about men and share our woes, and
Yeah.
suddenly I was the woman who had left the single circle, and
Yeah.
things didn't only move for me, they moved for me at a very rapid speed.
Mm.
And so I knew that there was something here I had hit upon that wasn't only going to be helpful and transformational for me, but helpful and transformational for all women who
Yeah.
had an open mind and wanted to learn. And I
Mm.
think the second pivotal moment was after we were married, we moved to Paris because Chris got a great job. And I
Mm.
found myself sitting at home, couldn't speak French, had a master's degree, trained economist brain. I was doing some consultancy jobs for international development sector, but I wasn't feeling turned on. And I just
Mm.
had this really deep feeling in my belly. There's got to be more to life. There's got to be more excitement. There's got to be more impact. You've got to be able to feel and see the impact you're
Yeah.
making in people's lives. And
Mm.
that's where this idea of, what if I started to not help my girlfriends for free, but actually charge
Mm-hmm.
for all the advice I've been giving them, because I can see it's helping them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I decided to train as a coach, because I do believe it's important to have the skills of a coach. Just because I've
Mm-hmm.
done something doesn't mean I want to just go out there and tell everyone how to do it. I think it takes a lot of skill and education to become a good coach. And so I remember investing almost 8,000 euros out of my
Mm-hmm.
10,000 euro bank account savings
Mm.
to become a professional coach. And then, of course, once I had learned the skills of being a good coach, I took my experience of what had helped me, converted it into a process that I now help strong, successful women from 55 countries of the world learn today. I'm running a multi-seven-figure company. I have helped over 300 women walk down the aisle, get engaged,
Wow,
find
now
love,
that's a number. Yeah.
and we've helped over 300 other women come together in partnered relationships. So my clients are getting results. I am living my life's purpose. I totally believe I was born to do this, and I'm here doing exactly what God or the universe wanted me to do.
Mm.
And I think there's just been no looking back ever since.
Wow. All right. So there are a few things here that I want to pick your brains at, and it takes a lot of courage to do. First of all, what was you said you're an economist, right? Yes, you're a trained economist.
Yes.
So when you met your partner and he had a job in Paris, I presume that you gave up your job then, that you left your job?
So the reason why I was willing to move was because I didn't want to have a distant marriage. So the choices
Mm.
were, I stay in Berlin and continue working. He goes to Paris and continues working. And that's when I chose love. And
Mm.
I knew that I had the brains, no matter which part of the world I went to. I knew I had the brains, and he was really well paid at that time. He
Mm.
had a really good job. And so
Mm.
that was the decision I made.
Okay.
I chose love. Yeah, I chose
I
love.
love what you said. I chose love because that's important to remember. But that still takes a lot of courage because coming back to this idea, strong, independent, financially independent women. And if you're going to go and become dependent on your partner, that's a big decision to make. And how do you adjust to that?
Yeah, okay. So that's a really great question, because I can tell you back then, for me, this wasn't about not being a financially independent woman. For
Mm.
me, the way I think I was operating in my feminine energy, and I knew that if I got the better job offer, Chris would do the same for me. So this
Mhm.
wasn't a man choosing a man over my career decision for me. This was choosing love decision for me, because I knew that he would do the same for me. And that's
Okay.
what he does today. Like today, I'm running a multi-seven-figure company, out earning him by factors.
Mm.
And he supports me. He's proud of my success. He helps me in the kitchen, helps me with the kids. Like, this is teamwork. This is not man versus woman, or who is sacrificing for whom. I think when you know how a good team plays together, you always see, will this person do this for me as well? And then we are living in a really modern marriage. We have a really modern marriage.
I agree. I think that the element of equality in a relationship and partnership and true partnership has come of age of late. And when it doesn't, when those dynamics don't work, that's when people part ways. And I think it's important to recognize the female role, both as an earner and as a homemaker, because you are both. You can't dissociate from one or the other. And I don't think I could have my old traditional way of thinking, but I think it doesn't matter if you are an earner or not, you should be a homemaker. But that also means that if you are in a as you put it, modern marriage, then your partner, your husband, your life partner should also be contributing and making a home with you. So you should both be homemakers and you should both be earners. That's my take on it. That's actually wonderful, and I love the idea that you've done that. But now, going from an employee mindset to running a successful multi-seven-figure, as you put it, company, how did you encompass that? That could not have been an easy ride. How did you deal with the ups and downs and the self-doubts and the can I, should I, will I, sort of scenarios that we all go through? How did you overcome those, and how did you build your mindset to have that strength to get through those difficult situations?
I think that's a broad question, so I'm going to answer it broadly. I think at every stage of business, you come across and hit the same kind of limiting beliefs again and again. It's like a new level, a new devil, but it's like often the same stuff comes up again and again. Like, can I do this? Am I meant for this? Will the imposter syndrome? And I think for me, it's just been firstly believing that I have a gift that I want to share in the world, and waking up every morning and being present for that one person who I can help today. So it's not about impacting millions, because that's a big goal to have, which I definitely will get there. But it's about waking up each morning and saying, okay, today I'm having a hard day. Today I'm not feeling like I can share anything with the world, but maybe I can just stand up for that one person today who I can help. And that kept me going in my harder moments.
You were saying that the thing that kept you going was not about building this seven-figure business. It was, okay, who I'm going to help, and that one person that you can help every single day and change their life. So you're impacting and changing lives one life at a time, and that's all you focused on, and everything else was just something that you had to deal with. Is that right?
Absolutely. So I think we all have our moments as entrepreneurs, and I'm talking about my darkest days. So when I woke up in the morning and I felt like nothing was working, that's where I put my attention to. I was like, okay, who can I help today? One woman who is struggling that I can share my gift with and bring her confidence back, bring her marriage back, make her date with more confidence in herself. Like, what can I do today to help one person? And then that became my motivation. And ever since I started my business, I always like to share it this way, that, in the first year we hit 6 figures, in the second year we hit multi-6 figures, in the third year we hit 7 figures, and we continue to grow year after year. And for me, it was always about client results. Like an online business like mine cannot survive if it's not delivering the results it says.
Absolutely. You have the results speak for themselves. If you don't have the results, you can't continue.
Yeah. So I think that was always where my focus was. Of course, I wanted to build a successful business, but I didn't start out saying that I want to build a multi-7-figure company. Like, that's not how I started. I started in a small apartment in Paris with the desire to help people. I think that was always the leading factor in the process. And then, of course, once I had helped a few people, I took feedback. I said, did the process work for you? What could we do better? Where do you see a scope for improvement? So we took all of that feedback, and we still today do that, because I think it's just so important to stay connected with the people that you're helping and you're serving. Yeah.
I agree. I definitely agree. And I think the only way to grow is to learn from in your clients. How can we serve you better? If you come from the angle, let me serve you, and how can I best serve you? And what's the best way for me to serve you? You're never coming from the approach of what can I get from you? It's all about how can I help and how can I serve you? And the idea, the focus isn't on building and growing the company. That becomes a side effect. The most important thing is how many people you can serve and how well you can serve them. Now, again, that's great to start with, but even now, when you are running a seven-figure company, how do you adjust to taking on the role? And this is a question about your feminine energy now, because running a successful company and doing part is a very masculine energy. And then you're extremely feminine, as I can see as well. So how do you balance the two, how do you balance the two energies? And the bigger you grow, the more masculine energy you need to hold. It's simple as that. When you are running a company or when you're running a business, it is a very masculine energy that you need to be able to hold, which in our mind, I don't know if you remember, but from the 80s, the iron fist of the Thatcher type of woman that, she's very stiff and, very masculine looking, which you don't have to be, but that's the image that pops into mind because that's what we fed. But you're extremely feminine, as am I. And so, this is my question to you. How do you balance the idea of running a successful company, holding that masculine energy, yet retaining your femininity?
That's a great question. And I think it's a day-to-day balance, and it starts with our belief system. So I personally believe you need to cultivate more feminine energy in order to hold higher levels of abundance and wealth in your life, not more masculine energy. Because masculine energy, you can hire a team to do things for you. Like if you have a queen's mentality, you can hire a bigger team and you can get other people to work for you and do the execution for you. But to be a true leader and to be a leader who is aligned with the way that they are leading, with their values, with their feelings, who are showing up in aligned energy on social media and in all of their content. I think what you need is a bigger connection with feminine energy. So I think that's where my belief system is very feminine oriented, because I believe that women, when we are in touch with our feminine energy, which means, what does that mean? It's a big concept, but it means, number one, you are able to be and rest. You're not always on the hustle and the hamster wheel. Number two, you are able to receive. You're not always giving and doing and giving and doing. You see value in receiving from others. You're able to ask for help. You're able to ask for support. You're able to say, I'm struggling here. Can someone help me? Is anybody else an expert here on this topic? So that you're not left doing everything by yourself. It's able to make intuitive decisions where energy is stuck or tight or not feeling good, being able to respect that this may not be the right direction for me to go in, and instead of just pushing your way through everything, even if it feels so hard and uphill and horrible when you do it. Feminine energy is about being in touch with your emotions and understanding that your emotional and mental well-being is everything when it comes to leading a company. You are the biggest resource your company has. And if you're not feeling good and you're not happy and turned on and not making love to your man and neglecting your marriage and not spending sweet moments with your kids, or forgetting to date because you're so busy building your career, and like, who are you working for at the end of your life when you are on your deathbed? You're not going to think about, oh, I wish I had, written another newsletter or made another evergreen funnel. You're going to think about the moments that truly counted, and that means, having somebody to share your life with, being seen, being understood. So for me, true leadership, abundance and wealth, and holding big levels of money and wealth and abundance and health and family, it all comes through a deepened connection with your feminine energy. So for me, it's not hyper masculine leadership where a woman is totally exhausted, burnt out, crying every day about her business and still working hard for the money. But it's about elevated leadership. It's about, of course, we need masculine. It's not about beating the masculine, but understanding that the cultivation of the feminine is equally important for the next level leadership. In terms of how I balance it, I think I always make sure I have strong boundaries with how I work with my clients. So even though I work with really strong, successful women, executives all over the world, I make sure that I'm not available in my family time for my client sessions. So like they have to wake up 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning to adjust to my schedule. And this is not me being a celebrity. This is just me being a mother and a person who only has 24 hours in a day. And I cannot be present 24/7 to everybody else. I also want to be present to my family. I want to be able to have time with my husband. And so I have set a schedule where these are the number of hours available. This is when you can have my energy. I hope it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, too bad, right? So that's at least the level at which I work privately. What I also do is like have some kind of self-care ritual every day. For me, journaling is really important. For me, it's so important that subconsciously, if I'm worried about something or something's bothering me, that I'm able to write it out, that I'm able to self-soothe. I teach this technique in my programs. I say women should be able to self-soothe. So our little girl inside, she gets scared, she gets worried, she gets tensed. Maybe it's about money, maybe it's about business, maybe somebody said something that hurt you. And you don't want to go to bed like that, carrying that energy. And so just releasing it on a piece of paper and forgiving whoever you need to forgive, feeling better, self-soothing. It's also another technique that I follow for myself every single day. I also I don't think feminine energy is just about your looks and your appearance. I think it's so much bigger than that. But I think putting on good clothes, taking care of yourself, stopping to, whichever form of self-care feels good to you, but like tending to yourself, like giving to yourself and nurturing yourself is such an important part of being in feminine. And when it comes to your love life, I actually have a YouTube video on this, by the way, how to switch from masculine to feminine, because my clients ask this question all the time. But what I have found works beautifully for me is that my relationship, or even if I'm a single woman and I'm dating men, romance is a field where I switch off my masculine brain, which means I slow down. I do nothing, literally nothing when I'm in front of a man. So I don't get all into performance and like, how do I impress this person? I just go there and I be. So like I be with my husband and I be on a date, because feminine energy is just being energy. And if we're on the go, 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 go all day, we can just look at dating and the time we spend with our men and our husbands as a time to switch off being on the go, 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 and just slow down, be, receive, let him give you a foot massage, let him bring you tea. On a date, let him pick up the bill, let him drive you. Just being and receiving is feminine.
I love that. I love that whole idea. And I really do agree. Feminine energy is all about being rather than doing. And I love that you brought that. I'm going to just ask you a quick question about, you said, let him pick up the bill. Well, here's a question, isn't it? We all want equality, and instead in this day and age, shouldn't we pay equally in half for the bill? So when you go on a date, wouldn't you want to say, well, let me pay half? Or what about those scenarios where the man expects the woman to pay?
It depends on what kind of relationship you're looking for. So I ask myself as a woman, do I feel good when I pay for a man? I don't. I'm not being rational here. I'm not using my brain. I'm using my heart. And I'm just asking myself, does it feel good? As a woman in this body, do I feel turned on when I pay for men? And
the answer is no, categorically, when you ask me that question. I'm very much high earner, but yeah, the answer would be categorically no. I do not feel good about paying for I don't feel good even 50-50. I'm not keen on that 50-50 idea. I would want the man to pay. I agree. I would want the man to pay. Even if I'm any more, sorry?
There you go. If you can get very cerebral about this, you can have a whole debate on equality, and you can say that Sami Wunder is taking all her strong, successful women back to the 50s. But I don't think so, because my clients don't have marriages like women in the 50s. My clients have marriages which are far superior than the women of the 50s. My clients have husbands who dote on them, bring them presents, spoil them, cherish them, adore them. And my clients get to have amazing careers as well. So they're very strong women. They just get to have the best of both worlds, which means they are masculine in their career pursuits for the most part. And in their romantic pursuits, they are more relaxed and on the feminine side. So you can get very cerebral around equality, but I think romance needs polarity. Romance is about letting a man feel like a man around you. And this is not sexist. This is biological and biological instincts we're talking about. There's so many high achieving women. They come to me and they say, I just attract broke men. I'm so successful. I make so much money. I'm so good at what I do. And I keep attracting these broke men, lazy men, passive men. How do I break the cycle? And what is important to understand is that this cycle exists for a reason. And the reason is that you're showing up in your masculine, in your love life. And by the law of polarity, which is how sexual attraction is existing between a man and a woman, which is the presence of polar opposite energies have to be there for sexual attraction to be present, just like you're not attracted to men who are very feminine. Very masculine men who want to do and give are not attracted to women who are a lot in their masculine. And so when women go out in their masculine, they are going to attract the polar opposite energy, which is more laid back men who don't really do much to please you, don't send you flowers, don't plan dates, are too lazy to even call and set up a date, so that you have to go chasing them and like to even set up a date. And the way to turn this around is to start showing up in your feminine, because when you start showing up in your feminine, you're going to start attracting men who want to do and give to you. And so all this idea of who's paying, I think it's it depends on how you want, what kind of a relationship agreement do you want to have in your marriage or your relationship? Do you want to be the kind of woman who is paying for a man? If you do, there is just
There's
no
nothing wrong with
judgment.
that. Yeah,
There's
nothing wrong with
nothing
that.
wrong with it. But like, you can't go about being in your masculine, attracting lazy men, then getting angry with the lazy men. I mean, they liked you because you were in your masculine energy, and they're more the laid back kind of guys. Now, if you want the more successful, ambitious, masculine men who have their life in control, you need to be switching in your feminine.
I agree. And that's quite an awareness to have, because I think this is the issue that, because I deal with a lot of entrepreneurs and very successful women, and it's very common when we have these discussions and things, because I'm currently doing, I focus on money, but on one of the programs which was asked for was toxic love, and we're going through it at the moment. And attracting, men who are, if you're very financially stable, then you attract men who are financially okay, or not, they're not too bad, but going through the experience where they expect you to, I remember this one person telling us how, this man expected he expected her to pay for the meal, not even contributing, because he had come from a different town to meet her. And this is obviously online dating, something rubbish, but because he drove all the way down from another town to meet her, and he booked a hotel and stuff, so he expected while he was there for her to pay for the meal and even for the movie or whatever they went for. I can't remember what they went for. And I found that a bit astonishing, but she was okay with it because, it's okay because he's paid for the hotel to come and stay here and he's come from afar. What advice would you give to that lady, who I would think is bonkers? I think, if he can't pay for a meal, and it wasn't even he asked, he just thanked her for the meal and got her to pay, and he just assumed that she would pay, and she did.
I think this woman seems to have a very kind heart and seems to have this energy of, fairness, which I can really respect. At the same time, just imagine building your life with such an entitled partner.
Yeah, agreed.
Imagine building a life. Imagine having children. Imagine lying on the labor bed and giving birth to this man's children, and then him saying that because I was here the whole night, you have to pay the bills for the hospital. Yeah. So I think I think what we're looking for is not just to marry men who are millionaires and multimillionaires. What we're looking for, and what I teach my clients, is to look for a spirit of generosity in men. Yeah. I mean, you teach money mindset, and I think it's not about what we have, it's about how we feel about what we have. And sometimes men who are millionaires can be so scarcity ridden about money, and they will count every penny they spend on you and they will try to get it back from you. And then there are men who may not have much, but they're very generous about it. They like to make a woman happy. They like to say, I want to invite you. Like, I remember when my husband invited me for a date, he said, is it okay if I invite you? And I said, sure, that would feel great. Until today, he tells me that so many of the women he was dating just said, no, I can pay for myself. And that it was so unattractive because, of course, you can pay for yourself. Like, of course, we're not living in the 30s. You are all employed and you all have money, but it's not about that. It's about allowing, it's about letting someone do something for you, not because you're helpless and weak, but because you give them the absolute privilege to be there for you.
Okay, I love that. I love that, Sami. I love the way you approach your life and your mindset and how you bring that to awareness to ourselves. As entrepreneurial women, I think we need to accept the idea that we have a certain amount of masculine energy. And especially if you're an alpha female, if you're a go getter like myself, you're going to hold that certain amount of masculine energy, which is absolutely fine. But if you are then looking for a romantic relationship and you want to be with someone, an alpha male who's going to be attracted to you, then you have to sink into your feminine energy and explore that part of you, which you need to allow. So we'll actually talk about this actually on a money talkie segment. But for now, I think we're going to do a wrap. So Sami, tell us, okay, where can we connect with you? How can you find out more about you, my dear?
Yes, so you can definitely find me on my website. You have to spell the name right, SamiWunder, SamiWunder.com. You can also follow me on my Instagram handle at Sami Wunder Coach. But what I have for Gull's audience is a very special gift that we have prepared just for your community, Gull. And it is a training on leaning back in love and leaning in at work. And basically the training is going to help your audience learn how to embody powerful feminine energy shifts, because I'm sure all these amazing women listening to us and watching us today already have the masculine energy part nailed down. But feminine energy is always the more elusive, vague concept. And so I prepared this training just for your peeps. And it also comes with a PDF on feminine energy scripts to get men to cater to our needs without us being controlling, nagging, complaining. And I've put in my top 10 scripts, exact words to use for conversations around money, conversations around sex, conversations around getting him to take charge and stepping up, and all of this in the PDF along with the training. So they just have to click on the link in your show notes and they're going to get all these goodies.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sami. We really appreciate you. So as Sami just mentioned, all her links will be on the show notes if you're listening to this on the podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then down below in the description section, again, we will have all her links. I do recommend you go and check her out. I think you only work with women, you don't work with men, do you? So it's just for women only. So if you're an entrepreneurial woman, and I know that a lot of our audience is, I think we've got 50-50, half women, half men. Sorry, gentlemen, this is not for you, but the ladies out there, this is definitely someone that you want to be checking out if you are single. And I know if you are an entrepreneurial female, it's highly likely that you probably will be, because you tend to, go more in your masculine side. Then I think this is someone you can definitely get help to fall back into your feminine energy, because if you are very, very masculine, you can be very, very feminine also. It's two sides of the same coin. You just haven't had access to that. So I definitely recommend go checking her out and speaking to her and see how she can help you. Thank you so much, Sami. We have to have you back. I need to continue this conversation further on our money talkies, even though it's not particularly about money, but I think sometimes money is important. I mean, talking about love is important because money and love are two sides of the same coin. And if you have issues with one, it's going to have impact on your other life as well. So therefore, we need to have a conversation about it. So thank you so much for today, Sami. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And thank you for listening to me and Sami today on Friday Future. I will be back on another Friday Future, another amazing guest sharing their experiences and telling us how they changed their life by working on their mindset. Until the next time we meet, this is Gull signing off. Take care and bye for now.